All right, let's dive in. Today we're talking about a condition called hyperthyroidism. You know, it's that feeling like your body's engine is just stuck in the fast lane and you can't find the brakes.
Yeah, think about it. Ever feel constantly on edge, your heart racing for what feels like no reason at all? Or maybe you're feeling totally wired and exhausted at the same time. It sounds kind of contradictory, right? Well, that's a classic description, and it all points to one tiny little gland in your neck that has a massive job to do.
So what's actually going on here? Well, just imagine your thyroid as the gas pedal for your body's metabolism. When it gets stuck down, when it goes into overdrive, it just floods your system with thyroid hormone. And that cranks up the speed on literally everything. Your heart rate, how fast you burn calories, the whole shebang.
Okay, so what does it feel like when everything's just too much? When your body's in that constant state of overdrive? Let's get into the most common signs.
And here's where things get kind of weird, you know? It's this total contradiction. On one hand, you could feel super anxious and restless, maybe you have a little tremor in your hands, and sleep, forget about it. But at the exact same time, you can feel this deep, crushing fatigue and muscle weakness. It's that classic tired but wired feeling. And it makes sense, really. Your body is just burning through energy at an incredible rate.
And the physical changes? They can be just as confusing. You might find yourself eating way more than you normally do, but the number on the scale is going down. Or maybe your heart feels like it's doing gymnastics in your chest, fluttering, pounding. You could be the only one in the room sweating, feeling hot all the time. Your hair might even start to thin. And sometimes you can actually see the problem, a swelling in your neck called a goiter. And the crazy part is, all of these really different symptoms, they all lead back to that one little gland working way too hard.
So it's totally natural to ask, why me? Why is this happening? Well, the causes can vary, but a few usual suspects are behind most cases.
Okay, so what's the number one cause? For most people, we're talking about 70% of cases, the answer is something called Graves' disease. Basically, it's an autoimmune thing where your own body gets confused and makes these antibodies that act like a key stuck in the ignition of your thyroid, just telling it to go, go, go. And yeah, if it runs in your family, your risk is definitely higher. Of course, there are other causes too, like little lumps on the thyroid that go rogue, some temporary inflammation, or even just taking in way too much iodine, which is the raw fuel your thyroid uses.
Right, with all these different symptoms flying around, how do doctors actually figure out what's going on? Thankfully, it's like good detective work. There's a really clear step-by-step process. First up, step 1 is a physical exam. Your doctor's going to check your neck, listen to your heart, and even look at your eyes for any changes that might point to Graves' disease. But the real clincher is step 2, a simple blood test. It checks your main thyroid hormones, T3 and T4. If those are high, but another hormone called TSH is low, that's the smoking gun. See, TSH is the signal from your brain telling the thyroid to work. So a low TSH means your brain is screaming stop, but the thyroid just isn't listening. And once that's confirmed, step 3, imaging, can show exactly why your thyroid has gone rogue.
Okay, and this is a really important heads up. If you take biotin supplements, you know, the stuff in vitamins for hair, skin, and nails, you absolutely have to tell your doctor. Why? Because biotin can completely mess with your thyroid blood test results. It can throw the numbers way off and could lead to the wrong diagnosis. So it's a good idea to stop taking it for a couple of days before you get your blood drawn.
So once you have that diagnosis, the goal is pretty straightforward. Let's get your body back into balance. And the good news is, there are a few really effective ways to do just that.
Let's look at the main options here. First, you've got anti-thyroid drugs. Think of these as hitting the brakes on your thyroid, telling it to slow down production. This is often the first thing doctors try. Then, there's radioactive iodine, which sounds scarier than it is. It's basically a one-time pill that specifically targets and shuts down the overactive thyroid cells. It's a really effective, permanent solution. The main trade-off? It often works so well that you end up with the opposite problem, hypothyroidism, but that's actually much simpler to manage with a daily pill. And then, in rarer cases, there's surgery to just remove the thyroid.
Now, those main treatments we just talked about, they can take a few weeks to really kick in. So in the meantime, to help you feel better right away, doctors often use beta blockers. These don't fix the thyroid itself, but they're amazing at controlling the symptoms. That racing heart, the tremors, the anxiety. They're like a fire extinguisher for the symptoms, while the main treatment gets to the root of the fire.
All right, medical treatment is absolutely crucial. But what you do every day, your lifestyle, your self-care, that plays a huge part in how you feel too. And this quote really nails it when it comes to diet. Let's be clear.
No food is going to cure hyperthyroidism, but what you eat can absolutely support your overall health and help manage how you feel. It's all about working with your body, not against it.
So remember how we said iodine is the fuel for the thyroid? Well, it makes sense that you might need to be a little mindful of foods that are packed with it. We're not talking about cutting them out forever, but sometimes, especially before a treatment like radioactive iodine, your doctor might suggest a low iodine diet. The idea is to make your thyroid really thirsty for iodine, so when you take the treatment, it soaks it right up.
Okay, let's look at some simple do this, not that adjustments. On the do side, exercise is a game changer. It's a fantastic way to fight back against the anxiety and sleeplessness, and it's also super important for keeping your bones strong since hyperthyroidism can weaken them. Now for the avoids, smoking is a huge no-no, especially if you have Graves, because it can make the eye-related symptoms way, way worse. And the biggest don't of all, don't ever, ever stop or change your medication on your own. Always talk to your doctor first.
And speaking of plans, this number is a big one, 6. For anyone who's had radioactive iodine treatment and is thinking about pregnancy, this number is non-negotiable. You have to wait at least 6 months before trying to conceive. It's all about giving your body enough time to stabilize and for the radiation to completely leave your system. It's a critical step to protect both you and a future baby.
Look, at the end of the day, understanding what's going on in your body is the most powerful first step. It's all about being proactive. Maybe that means finally talking to your doctor about those weird symptoms. Maybe it's learning more to support a friend or family member. Whatever it is, you have the power to take control. So the question is, what's one step you can take today?